Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to episode 225, as I'm reliably informed by Mark of Dude and a Monkey. That's the name of our podcast. My name is Ian Orring, and as always, I am joined by...
Mark Foster, hello everybody.
And we are here this week to discuss Darren Aronofsky's latest one. It's a one. It's Mother. So we'll have a full spoiler review of Mother. So for any first-time listeners, if there are any, we're all spoilers all the time with our main reviews. So, I wouldn't want to be spoiled on Mother, I suppose. Also, we'll do some of our usual stuff. We'll talk some what we watched. We'll do some trailers. There'll probably be some tangents at some point down the line. How you doing, Mark? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm sat in my office, which I cleaned the carpet off earlier today. And so one of the things you have to do is you have to ventilate the room, so let the windows open. And now I've closed them, and I'm starting to think that I've closed them slightly prematurely because there is a huff in here, I'll say.
But the important question is your laptop working now?
No, it's not at the moment. Essentially, my hard drive has completely shit the bed, so I need to get a new hard drive and replace all of that. I was going to record on Isabel's laptop. However, Isabel's laptop is one of those laptop mini things and only has a 10 gig hard drive, so whenever I try and record anything or do anything on it, it runs out of memory after about 2 minutes.
Yeah, sounds about right. I mean, one thing about living the Apple life, it's expensive, but literally I am stood here in my lounge with a glass of red wine in my hand. Like, my MacBook is on the table, just doing its thing, recording the show. I'm on my AirPods, just walking around, like, recording the show using these, and I'm living the easy life. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. It would cost you $1,000. So
that's it. Yeah, that's the thing. The thing is, I, as it stands, only need a laptop to basically do a few things. That's it. So the minute it can kind of like, I'm actually contemplating looking to see if there's any way that I can just do all of the recording and everything off my iPad.
I think you could. I think you could. Like, my touch wood, I'm saying all this and the show won't record, but my recording software on the Mac seems to be pretty reliable. So I think we're good. The only show I've lost recently was that first episode of Damn Games, which that was actually using a Windows laptop. So, Apple, man. It's all about Apple. iPhone 8 Plus on Friday, baby. Oh, yes. And Apple TV. Fuck. Correct. And Apple TV.
And Apple TV, yeah.
It's a big day.
It is, yeah. A big day for your wallet.
Well, I sold some of my shares. So I got given about 500 quid's worth of shares in my employer as part of a bonus a few years back. And they're worth quite a bit more than they were then.
Oh, nice. That's sweet.
Like, the share price at that time was around about £2, and it's now about £2.60. So, like 25, 30% more.
That's 30%, isn't it?
Yeah, it's, so sold some shares, get an Apple TV, fuck it, why not?
Yes, nice.
So, I've been doing a bit of shit on the markets as well. I've been investing in contracts for difference, which basically is like spread. You give like companies money and they basically spread bet, but you put money on companies essentially, and it's like I just put some stuff on Tesla, and then I did that, and I put in £100, and I made about 30 quid in a few months. And I don't know, it was Tesla and Apple, and I don't know how it worked, but I just withdrew it, and they let me withdraw it. And it was like, right, okay, you're letting me draw out 130 quid, are you? Okay, all right, that's fine.
I'll take that.
I mean, I got a sign up bonus, so I don't know if that was part of it or something. But no, it's all right, man. It's all right. Anyway, that was a bit of a tangent.
Well, yeah, I've actually been, like I said, at the end of the week, I think I've actually been starting to sell off my Blu-ray collection.
How's that going?
All right, yeah. I've sold 40 so far of them, and I think I've made about 160, 170 quid.
That ain't bad. Like, so what? Like £4
No,
average per Blu-ray?
But about £4 on average per Blu-ray, and
Sweet.
bear in mind of that, only about 5 of them have been in the steelbooks. So, for instance, I got from one guy for 2 steelbooks for the Point Break steelbook, and which one it was he got off me? I think it was 2 Lane Blacktop. I got about 35, 40 quid for those. I actually got more for both of them. I got more than I paid.
Fucking hell, that ain't too shabby.
Yeah, so I'm kind of quietly doing that, but it's kind of like it's one of those things where Beck's like, "Oh no, we'll just put them all on. We'll spend like a day putting them all on." It's like, really? Well, maybe not all of them, but we'll do them like in batches of like 100. I was like, really? It's like, yeah. I said, okay. Can I just point out one slight flaw in that? She said, what? I said, do you want to be the guy who works at the post office with 100 parcels to post? She's like,
oh man, you just got to do it in stages, like 10 at a time.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, yeah, we've done it 30 at a time, and literally, I've worked out a system is that if I go to the post office at 5 to 5, they literally just open the bag and let me throw them in.
There you go. That's a good strategy.
I could put whatever the fucking weight I wanted on that, and they just let me do it.
So is this for a 4K TV and an Apple TV? Like, tell me you're embracing. Come on, you got to fucking open up.
Oh no, I was in John Lewis the other day looking at TV, going, yep, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen soon.
Make sure it's got Dolby Vision, man. Make sure it's got Dolby Vision. There's an LG 49-inch Dolby Vision 4K TV Curry's at the moment for about 600 quid. I've got a thing at work where I can get you some discount off of that if you want me to hook you up. Like, fucking boom, there you go. Nice big 4K TV. You got your Dolby Vision. You got your HDR. You're fucking future proof. You're good.
Well, that's it. Once I do decide to bite the bullet and go for it, which might be a Christmas sort of gift for myself, it literally will be, Ian, I need to buy a 4K TV. Which one do I buy?
Yeah, okay, good. Yes, do come to me. The Apple TV is coming with Dolby Vision. I'm fucking pissed off that my TV doesn't have Dolby Vision, and I'm tempted, maybe with some bonus money next year, to jack in my TV, even though I don't know how much I'll get for my one, but we'll see, and get a Dolby Vision one instead. Apple TV's using it. It's going to look fantastic. My fucking phone I'm getting on Friday is going to have Dolby Vision. Films are going to look better on my fucking phone than they are on my fucking TV.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's a first world problem.
What a fucking world we live in.
It's the definition of a fucking first world problem. But everyone's got to have their fucking problems.
Fuck it. That's it. Yeah, your problems were relative, is what I would say.
Oh, mate, can people tell this is the first time I've had a drink in a month?
Genuinely, that is impressive. I at the moment, I don't think I could go a couple of days without having a drink without literally staring down the fucking abyss.
No, it's I mean, it's been hard work, and I'm generally planning on not drinking as much as I used to in the future. So it's but I've got a nice Cabernet Sauvignon. It's a Wolf Blass yellow label, and I tell you what, they did a fucking yellow label. I think it was maybe 2011 that fucking went down like caramel. It was unlike any fucking red wine I've ever drunk before. This is 2016. It's nice. It ain't fucking caramel. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, nice. I tend to avoid the red wine nowadays. Red wine tends to be a bit fucking crazy.
I think it's fucking sending me a bit fucking crazy if the first 10 minutes of this podcast has anything to do. Anyway, I'm hosting. Right, okay.
You are?
Right. What do we think about Linda Hamilton coming back for Terminator? Do you care? That'll be
right,
a no.
Two-part
Moving
question
on.
then. Yeah, why not? Do I care? Not really. It's yeah, fair enough. I'm more interested in the fact that it's Tim Miller directing it. I think that's quite an interesting shout.
Mm-hmm.
And fuck it, it's at least it's interesting. It's an interesting piece of casting rather than just a bit of casting that makes you go, yeah. Which, let's be honest, fucking Jai Courtney, yeah. Amelia Clarke, yeah. Arnold Schwarzenegger, well, obviously. It all felt a little bit like, yeah, this one at least makes you go, ooh, okay, fair enough. But do I care? Will it actually happen? Is what I will say. That's one of those I won't believe until it actually exists.
No, it's happening, man. They've got distribution. Paramount's doing it in the US. Fox is doing it internationally. Cameron seems to want to do anything to not have to direct the Avatar films. So
that was our films that the only seems to keep on saying is saying, oh yeah, there's going to be 3-4 sequels. Like, cool. But are you actually going to make them? Yeah. There's going to be 9 sequels. There's going to be 9 sequels. It's going to be so immersive, and there's going to be 14 sequels. Because I've written another 5 in my head. There's 20 sequels coming.
Yeah.
No one
how many
gives a
sequels
shit.
are there coming, James? 37.
37.
There's 37 avatars coming. They're all going to be 20 minutes long.
Yeah. And now there's 9 prequels as well. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, the thing is, if they're bringing Linda Hamilton back, they're essentially going to be retconning everything after 2.
Yes.
Which I admire, even though I didn't hate Genesis.
I didn't hate Genesis. I thought it was entertaining enough, unless they bring her back as a Terminator.
Fuck me. Well, you might have the golden ticket there. I mean, we'll see. It's early days. It won't be out for a couple of years at least, so we'll see how it goes. But I'm glad Tim Miller's rebounded, fucking getting basically kicked off Deadpool 2 and teaming up with James Cameron instead. That's not a bad fucking substitute gig.
No, it's not. And Deadpool. Yes, it was very much a driving force behind Ryan Reynolds, but that film has got some. There's definitely the fingerprint of a director on there without question.
He made that fucking film with like a $55 million budget. Like that's impressive.
It is, yeah, and it. Don't get me wrong. I think we both commented when we watched the film that it looks like its budget hampered it at some points. But still, there's a timing of that film that works superbly, which has to be attributed to a director and editors, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. But I thought that was worth a shout. Okay, trailers. Alicia Vikander is Lara Croft, and it kind of looks like it's sticking quite close to the recent games, which is an interesting choice. Like, literally, there are major plot points from that reboot from like 2013 or whatever it was that are in this, except that game was criticised for not having a lot of tomb raiding. And it seems like the climax of this fucking film is basically getting to some sort of tomb and then going through the tomb. And I'm down for that.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried about Alicia Vikander because it's like, right, you're doing posh British accent. Cool. Are you going to be as cold as a fucking dead fish? I'm a little bit concerned about that. She's got the physicality. I'm a little concerned as to whether she's got the charisma.
I will point you in
yes, please do. Point me.
In the way of the Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Fuck me. When you're right, and you are right, Mark.
Because
absolutely
she is charismatic as fuck in that film.
She is. Oh, she's great when she's got those fucking sunglasses on and she's doing all that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not just that's not just a she looks hot dancing in just a shirt. There's a definite charisma and a charm to that where she starts doing it, and you just go, "That's all right." Yeah, there's more to you than just being pretty.
No, you are correct.
Which isn't anything that you could shout misogyny at or anything like that, because you could say the same thing about a lot of guys and say there's more to the guy than just being jacked.
Mm-hmm. Yep, no, quite. I mean, what do you think of the trailer?
I thought it was really good. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It looks very much like the games. Yeah. So I'm all for it. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Okay. What else have you seen this week? I don't know why I just stormed in with Tomb Raider there, but yeah, what else did you see, man?
It was the big trailer of the week, wasn't it? I suppose. Yeah. The Meyerowitz Stories trailer, a new Noah Baumbach film that obviously stars Ben Stiller. Netflix film, but also says and in selected theatres in the States as well. So
yeah,
that's the thing they're doing.
One in New York and one in LA, so it qualifies for Oscars. That's going to be it.
Yeah. That's it, and that's because there's a little bit of buzz, I think, around Sandler for that, isn't there?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I tend to not get on with Noah Baumbach movies, but I tend to like the trailers. So I like the trailer, and then I watch the film, and about 25 minutes, half an hour into it, I remember and go, "Oh God, yeah, I don't like these films, do I?" So I will watch it. I genuinely hope I like it. So yeah.
Cool. I'll watch it on Netflix in like 3 weeks' time.
Is that how soon it's on?
It's like October 13th in my head. So yeah, I mean that's the thing with like trailers for Netflix films and stuff. It's like I almost don't see the point in watching the trailers because it's like it's on Netflix. I'll just watch it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's really, really, really easy for you to watch a Netflix film. It's easier for you to watch a Netflix film than pretty much any other fucking... It is easier for me to watch a Netflix film than a film on Film 4 because we don't have live TV. So, actually, how the fuck would I watch a film on Film 4? I don't think I could.
No, I don't think you could.
I don't think I could.
You don't have live TV?
Nah, man, we haven't had live TV for getting on 2 years.
All right. I thought you were Virgin.
Yeah, just for phone and broadband.
All right. So, fair enough.
Yeah, no. It's it's fine. I mean, a combination of Netflix, like 4 on demand, BBC iPlayer.
With the exception of football, I never watch live TV, so yeah, it won't bother me.
Yeah, no. So yeah, there you go. I mean, that's on fucking Netflix. That I noticed as well. That one from the person who did A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, the Bad Batch, the fucking cannibal film with Keanu Reeves and Jim Carrey. That's like apparently straight to Netflix in the UK on Friday, and it's like, right, okay, fair enough, interesting. I don't know. It's Netflix. It's how the fuck do you just pass all the content that's on Netflix these days? It's fucking impossible.
Yeah,
like they need a like Netflix original films added in the last month category.
Yeah, it is, and it is insane. But I do think they've got to keep an eye on quality, though.
Oh, I agree with that. There's so much stuff. I mean, like that fucking Angelina Jolie directed one, First They Killed My Father. That came out on Netflix last Friday.
And no one even noticed.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. It's no one noticed. No one's talking about it.
No,
Angelina Jolie directed the film. And
that's weird how quickly that woman's star fucking fell is insane.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, she's directed 3 films and no one talks about any of them.
No. It's like if she was in an interview for the next film that she's making where she's going to be in it and said, oh, you know, working as a director, you wouldn't blame the interviewer to go, oh, you're directing a movie? She's like, I've directed 4 movies. They're like, Oh. I mean, apparently by the sea is very, very good.
Mm.
You know, Unbroken, people seem to get on with that. But yeah, just no one seems to give a shit.
Nope.
Which is, a little bit harsh, but she's a divisive person, I would say.
Yeah, quite. Yeah. So, anything else?
The other one I saw was Cook Off. Have you seen the trailer for this?
Yeah. So there's a bit of a story behind this as well, isn't there? Like, it literally has sat on a shelf for over a decade.
Has it?
Apparently, yeah.
That makes sense.
It makes so much sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. It wouldn't surprise me if actually Melissa McCarthy came out and said, "Yeah, it's not me. It's not me. I didn't do it." And that's somebody pretending to be me. It looks fucking awful.
Yep. Anti-laughter. And It looks shit as well. Like, it looks like it's like really early digital cinema stuff. Or at least, like, I don't know if they're trying to make it look dated or something. I don't know, but it looks horrific. And that poster as well.
It does look terrible.
Fuck. So yeah, there's that.
Yeah, that beyond that, nothing from me, I'm afraid.
No, and that's it for me as well. So let's talk about a film by the name of Mother. Mother is directed by Darren Aronofsky, which I quite like, Darrenofsky. So Jennifer Lawrence, Javier Bardem, Ed Harris, Michelle Pfeiffer, Stephen McHattie, Kristen Wiig, for some reason, because she rocked up on set one day and said, "Can I be in this?" So Mother. Story is Jennifer Lawrence is Mother. She lives with him, capital H, in a house, and she's creating the house. After it burned down, she's kind of recreating it in his image, in him's, capital H's image. Well, the image of what it used to look like. Some people come knocking, Ed Harris, and then the following day, Michelle Pfeiffer, and they kind of inveigle their way into Bardem and Lawrence's life. Bardem's pretty welcoming. Lawrence is like, who the fuck are these people? Which is a perfectly good, clear reaction to have. And then shit gets weird. Mark, on Friday night, and it's been a long time coming, that you were going to fucking hate Mother after I watched it.
Yeah, you did, didn't you?
Yes, I did, yeah. I'm fully expecting you to have fucking hated it. I'm going to be genuinely surprised if you didn't, because I think this is... I literally was having a DM conversation with Dan Orty on Twitter today saying how much I was looking forward to recording this podcast because I knew that film was going to make your fucking teeth itch. Don't disappoint me, Mark. What did you think of Mother?
Can I just ask why you thought I'd hate it?
Because it's... All right, so it's kind of giving an inkling into my own thoughts about it. I give it points for ambition, but I also think it's essentially almost like a film student who's really, really high on his own supply, somehow getting a studio to finance a film, getting Jennifer Lawrence to star in it, and like all this supporting cast to turn up as well, and basically be a bunch of symbolism. And it's not a comment on your like intelligence or anything like that. Believe me, it's all this fucking philosophical stuff on the screen, slightly wanking off about how clever am I for 2 hours and then ending. Go on, tell me it's your film of the year. Go on.
No, it's not.
Yeah, okay.
No, it is not my film of the year. literally, this is 2 hours of Darren Aronofsky sitting you down and doing what Darren Aronofsky does and going, right, you might not get this, everybody, because I'm going for symbolism here and I'm quite smart, but it's okay if you don't get it. At some point, I'm going to explain it to you just a little bit. I'll help you along the way. And then he goes, oh, there's something shocking because, that's what I do. And then it's okay if you don't get this bit. I'll explain it a little bit later on. And shocking thing. And then it's okay, everybody. I'll explain it a little bit, but I don't want to explain too much because, if I have to explain too much, then you're just not smart enough for this movie. Like I clearly am because I'm making this movie for you. And then there's something shocking here. And then, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Bright white light and finish. It is sixth form fucking common room theology of the fucking highest order. He is the guy in the common room talking to the girl, the hottest fucking girl in school, and going on about how deep he is and all of this and talking about stuff and just talking about how much it pains him and everything like that, whilst in his other hand shaking for another girl to run and get him another fucking whatever the fuck lemongrass bullshit is that he's drinking to try and impress everybody, despite the fact that he doesn't fucking like it. And he's all doing it, all of that, so that people think that he's really smart, and all of that is just so that Jennifer Lawrence will blow him. That is all it fucking is. It is... I don't understand how this film hasn't been accused of just outright fucking egotistical misogyny, because it is painfully misogynist at points. All Jennifer Lawrence does is look worried and following around like a lost fucking puppy.
Fair point.
And then it turns out, all spoilers all the time, all she actually needed was a good fucking someone to put a baby in her. I don't understand it. How somebody, right? Because it's there's some nice imagery, but is there actually some nice imagery? Actually, now I come to think of it, it builds, and you're going, right, will you fucking do something now? Will you just fucking Rosemary's Baby it? Will Michelle Pfeiffer and Ed Harris just come out and cut this fucking baby out of you so I can get on with it? No, you're going to have the... Fine, that's cool. All right, okay, that happened. Oh, my God, this house has descended into these, the different seven circles of hell. Oh, God, do you know what? Oh, if you're going for fucking Kafka, at least make it a little bit better. Don't try and meld Kafka with fucking Dante's Inferno, because films have done it better. Much better, more recently. Have done it better. Fucking hell. There was better imagery in Inferno than Mother. And that was written by Dan Brown. The best character in the entire film disappears and doesn't come back, and you're thinking, for the rest of the film, just going, where's Michelle Pfeiffer?
Yeah.
Where's Michelle Pfeiffer?
Yeah.
Right, I promise I'll let you talk in a minute.
No, it's okay, man. Don't.
Right. Jennifer Lawrence, the studio have released a statement. Jennifer Lawrence has essentially released a statement, and Darren Aronofsky has released a statement, right? If you're going to make this type of film, and you're going to have, as a studio, as a director, and as an actress, because for Jennifer Lawrence, it's a very committed performance. Committed is as far as I'll go. And I think Jennifer Lawrence is a fantastic actress, by the way. And from Aronofsky, the thing is with Aronofsky is it's a little bit like a footballer that gets to 28 years old and people keep going, oh yeah, well, he is young. It's like, no, he's fucking not. It's a little bit like that. It's, The Fountain, it was flawed. Oh, but it had ambition. Oh, Noah, it was flawed, but it had ambition. Oh, Mother, it's flawed, but it had ambition. It's like, right, but the ambition occasionally has to fucking make sense. And if you have to have a studio, your lead, and your director come out and basically explain the fucking theology and the whole fucking metaphor of the film, then you're not... It's just not fucking working. They've not reacted well to not getting universal fucking praise, and the fact that it's bombed financially, whereas they're looking at it and going, hang on a minute, that's making so much more money. Why is that making so much more money than this? This is a smarter film. It's a more ambitious film. It's a better looking film. Look, we've got Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem. They've won Oscars. Why are people going to see this? And it there's a lot of reasons for it, but one of them is it's a better fucking film.
Yeah.
Anyway, it is, and it's just, the other point of it is, if they release a statement explaining what's going on, Darren literally walks you fucking through it, what's going on in it, and Bex was reading it to me yesterday before I did it, and I got about like a third of the way through it and said, right, stop now, because you're literally giving away the movie. And she's like, oh yeah, fair point. And then I got about an hour into it and thought, this isn't subtle. This is a fucking sledgehammer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It is. Now, the thing is, I thought, well, that might be absolutely intentional. It has to be intentional. But then again, why would you release a statement saying what it was if it wasn't intentional, that it was obvious that that's what it was? It just seems like he's mind vomited everywhere and can't comprehend the fact that some people have gone, and some people like it and some people are getting on with it. That's fine, but it's a little bit like he can't get his head around why people don't like. Why, for instance, I didn't like it, and I have the feeling whereas if I was sat in front of him and saying like that, his response would be, "You just don't get it." It's like, no, I get it. You can get something and still think it's wankery of the highest order. Yeah,
no, quite. I mean, I think mind vomit is a really, really good phrase for this, actually. I will say, and I'm gonna try and justify this. For me, it is mildly, definitely not shit, and yeah, very. It's close to touching cloth. Okay. Now, the thing with it, I'm sorry, I'm just putting something in the oven. The thing with it for me is that I do admire what he was putting out. The fact that he was putting out what he was putting out. It is a grand idea what he's doing here, and the fact that he actually got the film made is fucking somehow, the fact is, this is the kind of thing that's basically going to scare a studio off from doing anything even approaching anything like this for fucking years. And Aronofsky is going to have to do some sort of one for them, actually probably 3 for them, before between Noah and this, before he's allowed to do anything of his own kind of volition again, unless it's like with Netflix or something. Now,
which he wouldn't do.
No, quite. Now, the thing is, in the moment, I was in, like, I was engaged. I think that everything pre-Harris and Pfeiffer exiting the picture is pretty great. It's taut, it's claustrophobic, it's nerve-wracking, it's surreal, but it's not smacking you over the head saying, look how smart I am. It's dialogue, it's little interactions, it's facial tics. And then by the end, it's everything blaring. It's essentially a baby being fucking killed for shock value. Which I am stunned he's not getting criticised for that more. I am fucking stunned he is not getting criticised for that more.
He's... It's film snobbery using it. What is it? It to the wrong end.
No, I mean there are people so highly tuned to racial things or sexist things.
Mm.
But exploitative baby murder or manslaughter, okay, it doesn't happen in nearly as many films as racism happens. Fair or whitewashing, fair play, it doesn't. But, and I do wonder how much of film Twitter is actually a parent, frankly.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
So this is the thing. It got it genuinely made my stomach turn for a solid minute or two. But it was basically because it was Aronofsky going, right, here's the culmination of this. Here's the ultimate shock value. And it's something that I would expect a director of less talent than him to do. And I understand it's supposed to be symbolizing things. I do. But again, sledgehammer. Like you say, absolute fucking sledgehammer. And by the end of the film, it was like, well, that was an experience. And then I walked out the cinema into the car, and it was like, I genuinely don't know what to make of that, which is a reaction that many people have had. And by the car ride home, I hated it. And then the morning after, I felt a little more settled on the first part is great. The second part is visceral, but fucking bobbins. But I really liked what they were putting out there in the first half. And that's where I'm at with it. So I literally have seen several people say there's no way you can say 3 stars for this film. There's no way. It's either 1 star or 5 star. You know what? 3 stars. Genuinely, and I'm not saying that to be contrarian.
No, because see, the thing is, I could absolutely see why. I don't see this as a split people down the middle film. I just don't. I could see why somebody could go, do you know what? It was all right. I could absolutely see that because I don't think there's enough there to split people. I just didn't like it. Don't get me wrong. There's all right bits in it. I think, like I said, Jennifer Lawrence's performance is committed. I don't think
fucking kills it. She's amazing.
Pfeiffer's fantastic in it, and it's doing what Michelle Pfeiffer does best, looking striking, and shooting fantastic glances. She does that, and she's intimidating. She's the intimidating part of it. The rest of it's not intimidating.
It's the most just on Pfeiffer. It's the most spot on passive aggressive performance. It's fucking incredible. Like every single thing she's doing is calculated in a certain way, but you believe that character is doing that, not Pfeiffer. She is. I think she's like. It won't get any Oscar nominations, this film. I would be comfortable with her having the Best Supporting Actress nomination all the fucking way.
If she'd had a little bit more screen time, I could agree with you, but she's vastly underused.
Fuck, man, Judi Dench was on screen for fucking like 8 minutes in Shakespeare in Love and won the fucking thing.
I know,
what I mean?
Which we all know should never have fucking happened.
Yeah.
She's underused. It's... Mm-hmm. Aronofsky, it very much thinks that he's the star of all of his movies, and he's almost using Jennifer Lawrence as his, basically saying, look, this is my current muse. Look what I'm going to put her in, because you're going to see everything from her point of view. Actually, no, wait, I don't everything to see from her point of view. I want everyone to see things from my point of view and her reacting to it, and it's like that. And I'm just gonna, the camera's always gonna be around, whether what she's just behind her or directly on her and everything like that. And it's kind of like it would have been first person, that would have been more interesting, but it's not. It's just it felt like it just didn't feel right. But then, like I say, once Pfeiffer fucking disappears, it just becomes a little bit boring. And Bardem's not very good, really, in it. He's not bad in it. He's just a little bit. He don't do out.
No.
You know when people say, for instance, constantly, and it's not a wrong criticism to have. So, for instance, it was a perfectly valid criticism of, and even the director has acknowledged it, that Brie Larson was just underused in Skull Island. That it was just, she was just kind of there. Well, Bardem's a little bit like that. He's just kind of there. And, it's the whole thing is he's the poet. For a start off, why call him him when he constantly gets referred to as being the poet?
Oh, because he's supposed to be God, isn't he? So
but it's wankery. It's more wankery.
Well, yeah,
do you know what?
Wankery, but I'm just telling you why it is.
That's it. But hang on a minute. Didn't Lars von Trier already do that? With, what's it?
Antichrist.
Antichrist, yeah.
Well, it was her and him, wasn't it?
Her and him, yeah. It's a little bit... Get your fucking own thing. Just call him the poet. Call him the prophet. But him is just a little bit... It's just fucking more fucking sixth form common room bullshit. And, yeah, Donald Gleason's I thought was very good when he comes into it.
For like
Donald Gleason's... Donald Gleason, it literally is like he walked by a set and went... Like, he just walks around just movie sets just going, what's going on there? Making a movie. Yeah. Come in it. Like,
well, it's like Brendan Gleeson was like, take your kid to work day, and he just had a fucking walk around the studio lot.
Because that's what he does. No, wrong. Donald Gleeson is usually one of the best things. He's usually one of the best things in everything he's in. And I like the fact that he's quietly just really built up. What is it? And you go back and look over his CV, and it's a lot of really interesting shit. But I want more of his character because he seemed to get what was going on, but then he just disappears. And then it's again, I come back to it. It just feels a little bit like underdeveloped mind vomit, and it's cost the studio $30 million, and then now having to defend it and say, well, we believe in his vision. It's like, fine. But was his vision ever fully conceived?
Well,
it doesn't seem like it.
Well, this is the thing. Like, the thing that I like... as I said last week, I fucking adore Black Swan. And the thing with that is that it's single-minded. It's a single character, her descent into madness. That's what that film is about.
Exactly. And the thing is, I wish I got on with Black Swan. I really do. And the reason why is because with that, I can see the fully formed idea. It is absolutely fully formed, that film. Noah is a little bit... It's not... I don't think Noah is the film that Aaron Aronofsky wanted to make.
Noah is a great character study of a fucking dickhead.
Yeah,
and that's what I like about Noah.
It is, but that movie should have been a 15 and had more... He should... That's the movie that Baby should have got killed in. There you go. But here, I don't feel like... I feel like the movie either got away from him, or if that was his idea and that was the exact thing that he wanted to do, then it's just a little bit... It's really fucking messy. The last half, the second act and the third act are all over the place. And for such a composed first act, to then descend into something that feels... The final act doesn't feel like it's connected to the first act.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't in the fucking slightest. That's the real problem.
And therefore there's that. And it's like he has... I can see what he's done. He's trying to go full tilt. The problem is, it's a little bit boring, full tilt. You've got... It goes from people... you've got them coming there just to see him and everything like that, to then you've got SWAT teams going in and the house feels like it's 17 stories and so much wider and all of this going on, and it goes too fucking quickly to that it just feels a little bit all over the place, and like it couldn't get a handle on it. I remember years ago when I believe it was, I think it was Django. I think it was when Django Unchained came out. It was something Kermode said about it. It may have even been Inglourious Bastards, but he said that he feels that sometimes it'd be nice if I think it was Inglourious Bastards. If Tarantino had a producer working with him that could go, just maybe calm down a minute and have a think. And I'm not saying I agree with him on that, but it does seem a little bit like Aronofsky needs to have somebody there for him to go, hang on a minute, it's cool, let's be doing things like that, but this could maybe do with just tightening up or tidying up or something else. It doesn't feel like a director in control of what he's doing.
I mean, I think he's in control. It's just whether he's in control of what his fucking mind is doing.
Well, yeah, maybe that's what I mean. You know, maybe that's what I mean. It is in that sense there, as in. It's a problem I've always had with Darren Aronofsky. Darren Aronofsky is a very smart guy. It's clear he's a very smart guy. The problem is, I think, with Aronofsky is he wants you to think that he's a very smart guy, and there has never been a room that Darren Aronofsky has walked into where he hasn't, the minute he's walked in, looked round it and gone, well, I'm the smartest person here, and then sat down and proceeded to try and tell everybody that he's the smartest one there.
I don't know. I mean, I would maybe disagree with that. I mean, I think a lot of his work says that, but I would like him to maybe do something else like The Wrestler again. Just
which is a film that I really
small.
Keep it
focused on character. You know, and I mean, if you want to do your flashy fucking hip hop editing and stuff like that, like you did for Requiem and Pie, then great. But you do well with single characters, personal themes, and maybe they link to wider things, but just not keep it simple, stupid. But I suppose Aronofsky's version of keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, and that's it. Because, like I say, I got on. Weirdly, I actually really enjoy The Fountain. I think it's complete bollocks, but I enjoy it, and I admire. I'm going to contradict myself. I admire its ambition there, and I might have admired the ambition in Mother if he hadn't descended into just outright shock.
Sorry, Mark. Hey, babe, you all right?
No, the thing is, there's, like we were saying, there's good bits in the opening bit, and I think, like I said, that Jennifer Lawrence's performance is very committed. I think at points, I don't think it's fantastic. I think Aronofsky gets good, solid performances out of people, so he is a director who I think gives his actors sort of room to kind of breathe within it, which for somebody who is so wrapped up in his autorial tendencies, that it's quite. You know, it's quite a good thing, but just I think I struggle with him when he gets too personal with films, I would suppose.
Yeah, okay, no. I mean, I think that's a fair shout. It's I don't know. I mean, the reaction to it's been really interesting because it kind of feels like it was getting some like raves at first, and as soon as it came out, then they just seemed to immediately stop. And I know like people are fucking defending this thing to the hilt, and even though I wonder if those same people would be saying quite that in 6 months' time. Like, it's a film that I kind of think will be conveniently forgotten when it comes to end of year.
Yeah, I thought that about this and thought, this is one of those films where in a few years' time, somebody's going to speak to Jennifer Lawrence about it in 5 or 6 years' time, and she's going to go, do you know what? I'm glad I made it, and you know, and it was the ambition was there. It was a passion project for Darren, and you know, like that. But yeah, maybe it just didn't quite all work out. And I think that people will, and everyone will start to go, all right, it was a little bit, there'll be a little bit of retroactive people climbing down, I think, rather than climbing up that you sometimes get.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see what he does next. But like I say, I mean, it's a pretty mild, definitely not shit. But the thing is, I agree with pretty much everything you were saying. But it was just in the moment, it had me.
Which if a movie gets like that, which absolutely counts for something. Absolutely, it's sometimes you've got to go with what actually happens while you're watching, rather than having your opinion purely formed about things as it sort of settles or anything like that, because there is that. It's always strange. I'd describe this as one of the dumbest smart movies I've seen. And then you get, and that's it's okay to have a dumb smart movie, but it's kind of not okay to have a smart dumb movie, if that makes sense.
Sure.
It always baffles me on that. What I will say is our poll, definitely not shit, 47%, touching cloth 24%, and shit 29%. So people liked it more than didn't like it, but still a closer split than I kind of expected on that.
And I believe Dan actually voted properly with this.
Yes, he did. He did. Don't know what he voted, but he did vote properly in this. So, we do actually have a question that is directly related to Mother. So, do you want to answer that now rather than at the end of the show?
Yeah, very nice.
It's from Ian Dickey at Dickey Ian on Twitter, and he says, "Should filmmakers explain what their film was about, like Mother, or leave it for us to work out, like Lynch?"
I don't really care. I suppose it depends to what extent. I mean, if it's like in terms of metaphor and that kind of stuff, you don't necessarily have to. But I was about to say, if it's in terms of narrative, then I would prefer that. But actually, do you know what? If Lynch actually said what he was going for with that last episode of Twin Peaks, I think I would have appreciated it. So maybe I just want things spelled out for me, but at the same time, I'm cool if they don't, and I'm cool if they do. I think that's where I'm at.
I'm very much of the case of I don't want David Lynch to ever explain his fucking movies, because half the time I think he'd just be making it up, to be honest.
There is that, yeah.
I think there's a point where some directors, artists or whatever, have ideas, and they're just ideas. They don't have to mean something. And if you get a meaning out of it, that's fine. If you're doing something that's supposed to mean something, and you're going for metaphor, right, then you can explain it. You can. But you've got to be very careful. And I think the way the Mother did it was a little bit like, it was reactionary. It was reactionary to people's criticisms of it. Rather than people wanting to know what it meant, it was telling people what it meant because you think that they didn't understand it, which is very different. It's rather than explaining what's happened, it's almost kind of justifying yourself, which I thought was a little bit very, very strange. I think it's a very strange thing to do. Personally, I'd prefer to not know, really. If you have to explain something, then doesn't it lose all its meaning? It's like somebody telling you a joke and you going, yeah, and then going, you only have to a little bit there, yeah. Do you not get it? No, I got it. It's because it's because the chicken had to get to the other side. I get it. The chicken had to get to the other side. It's mildly funny. It doesn't, but it's because he needs to get. I get it. Fucking chicken, other side of the road. It's a little bit like that for me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I think there's levels, to be fair.
Yeah, there is. Absolutely, there is. If I had to choose it, I'd prefer not to. I like listening to directors' commentaries. However, I will say that. So again, I'm contradicting myself.
Very good. Okay, so let's get into some what else we've been watching. And Mark, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, cool. What I will say is once I've got my recording situation sort of sorted out, which hopefully should be in the next couple of days, I'll have a new Patreon podcast that I'll be putting out there called Can You Hack It? A journey through the films of Gene Hackman. So the first episode of that will contain my reviews of Heist and The Chamber, which they'll be out there. That should be out there hopefully by the weekend. There's going to be a couple of ones I've got in the pipeline for that. What have I watched this week? I watched the film Mercury Rising for some reason. Because it kept on cropping up in every single fucking Netflix list. And I was like, fine, I'll watch it.
I almost watched that the other day.
Right.
Straight up, I almost watched that the other day. That would have been weird.
It's Bruce Willis when he gave a shit, kind of. And it's Alec Baldwin. It's Alec Baldwin. So when he absolutely didn't give a shit. It was in that period where he gave a shit, and he stopped giving a shit, and he kind of gave a shit again for a little bit, and now he's stopped giving a shit again. Yeah, it's weird because it's. Have you ever seen Mercury Rising?
No.
Right. What happens is there's a Bruce Willis plays an undercover FBI agent who essentially gets bumped down for punching his boss for blowing an assignment that he was on, and they said that the reason why they blew it is because he got too deep. So he gets bumped down, and so essentially just listening to chatter tapes. While he's doing that, Alec Baldwin is playing like the Secretary of Defense, I believe he is in this, and they've just essentially done like a new code system called Mercury that the NSA have developed. A couple of the NSA agents, as a kind of tester or a joke almost for it, put it in the back of a puzzles magazine, this code essentially, and put the number of their offices in this puzzles magazine to kind of give it a one final test, thinking that nobody would ever crack it and be able to go. But then a 9-year-old autistic boy, heavily autistic boy, is given the puzzle book, and then he just rings the number. Doesn't know what he's doing, he just rings the number. So this kid essentially has cracked this code that in 1998 cost billions to develop. And so Alec Baldwin isn't happy about it, so he wants the boy killed, essentially.
Right.
And so Bruce Willis, by accident, ends up taking care of the boy and gets embroiled in this whole conspiracy where he's accused of killing his parents, of the boy's parents, and he's kidnapped him, and Alec Baldwin's in charge of getting him back and all that, and it's all sort of bouncing round. And it's one of those kind of like action thrillers that you got around this time. It's strange in the fact that you'll get people often will say, movies like this don't get made anymore. This movie could not be made now because our understanding of autism is so much higher than it was then, is what I will say. So there's no way you could make this movie now. This movie also, it doesn't come across fantastically now. Now that the autistic spectrum is being kind of more publicised and has been explored a lot wider. But this is a 20-year-old movie, so you've kind of got to give it quite a lot of leeway and say, well, hang on a minute, it's actually shining light on an issue, and it's dealing with it in quite a well thought out way for 1998. Bruce Willis is good. Baldwin's not in it anywhere near enough. The kid is good, but if you have a little bit of a tin ear for kids screaming, like I do, really bad, then it might grate on you a little bit.
Okay, fair enough.
But it's a solid watch, but it's a little bit too long. It's pushing 2 hours, is what I'll say. So it is a little bit too long.
Okay.
Other thing I watched, again, I think it was because it was on Netflix. I don't remember. It was a Prime. I rewatched Interview with the Vampire because I've not seen it in a fucking long time.
Nice.
So I decided to give that a rewatch because partially because I thought, I wonder how horribly this film has aged. Because I remember quite enjoying it when it came out kind of 20 odd years ago. And you know what? It's not actually aged that bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird seeing Brad Pitt look that young. It's weird seeing Tom Cruise in that kind of role, but it kind of almost feels like a role that he'd kind of like to do now, because at the time he was a huge star and Brad Pitt was an up and coming star, and it was kind of like Cruise very much heavily pursued doing Interview with the Vampire because he wanted to do it to prove that he wasn't just Tom Cruise action star. And so there is that, and Cruise is actually is very good in it, and Pitt's solid, and Christian Slater's good, and Kirsten Dunst's good when she turns up, and it's weird because this is the type of movie that you very rarely see anymore. A very a thoroughly 18 rated movie, which is quite strange because we've just reviewed Mother, and I think you could almost put these into very similar kind of categories, to be honest. You have Neil Jordan, who I think was very much hot off the heels of The Crying Game, which was a runaway hit, for its budget, coming out and making this, and bring Stephen Ray along with him, who's very good in this, the brief sort of cameo he has. But it's just over 2 hours, but it ticks along at a nice pace. It's got an epic, grand feel to it. It gets across its points quite well, and the source material is often derided as not being fantastic and being a little bit fetishized. But it's an entertaining watch, to be honest.
Okay, very good. Very good.
And the final one I've got to talk about is, I kind of watched it as a, do you know what? I've hovered over it a lot, and fuck it, I'm going to give it a go. Adult World, the Scott Coffey, Emma Roberts, Evan Peters, and John Cusack film.
No fucking idea what this is.
Have you? Right. It's called Adult World, and it's weird. Because I thought it was going to be a drama, and it's not. It's a comedy.
Okay.
So Emma Roberts plays Amy, and she lives in quite a small town, and she's just graduated from college, and she's determined that she's going to become a poet. And it's always something she's always wanted to do. She's always wanted to be a poet. And her hero is a poet called Rat Billings, played by John Cusack, who actually weirdly lives around where she lives. And she always sort of cites his work because he was around the same age when he released his first published works, and they were really well received, and he was this poet who was casting a light on his own times, and so her parents basically tell her that she's got to get a job because she spent all of her money that she had for going to college on paid for poetry competitions that she keeps entering and never winning. So she's just essentially obsessed with becoming a poet. So she kind of ends up going into a shop that she doesn't really know what it does, called Adult World, because she sees a help wanted sign, and then finds out that it's actually a sex shop. And the manager of the sex shop is Evan Peters. He's not the owner, he's the manager. The owner are these two very rarely seen eccentric old couple. And then Evan Peters is like quite straight, but he's just the manager of the shop. So she ends up getting a job there, but is quite kind of scared of it and a little bit. She constantly spends all the time doing this poetry stuff, and then she runs into Rat Billings, John Cusack's character, and basically starts stalking him and tries to get him to be like her mentor and her to be his protege by basically offering to like do stuff for him. And he was like saying, I don't need anyone to. He said, I can spell check things. Like, I have spell checker for that. Well, I can proofread your poems and see if they're any good. And he's like, well, no, because I don't need somebody to do that. And she's like, right, well, I could like clean for you. And he goes, what, you'd like clean the house? And she's like, yeah. And he goes, well, that could work then. And just essentially uses like a maid, whilst also occasionally throwing a little pep talk.
This sounds shit.
It does, but do you know what? It's actually it's 93 minutes long. If it was 5 minutes longer, it would be shit. Do you know what makes it? What makes it quite watchable? Emma Roberts is utterly charming in it, to the point of where she's doing some like fucking. She's fully on board with embracing how fucking tragically just out there this character is, in terms of she has no idea how the world works. She has no idea how shitty she is as a poet, and it's almost like she's in a different movie. Like everybody else is in like an almost verging on like fucking what happened next to the Basketball Diaries, and everything's a bit dark and a bit shitty, and John Cusack's character essentially is verging on being a fucking alcoholic, and he's just a pretentious prick. And Evan Peters is doing exactly the same as Emma Roberts is doing, but she's just too fucking blind to see it. But then she's in like almost this fucking quirky comedy about this poet. And then the two fucking worlds collide. It's frivolous and completely meaningless, but I actually had a really good time with it.
How'd you watch it?
I'm sure it was on Amazon Prime.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
But yeah, Emma Roberts is quite adorable in it, is what I'll say. It's a fun performance from her.
Okay.
Cool. That's it for this week. What have you been watching?
Not quite sold on that one, if I'm honest. Sorry.
Do you know what? Most people won't be.
Okay. All right.
It's one of those. Most people, it's quite insignificant, but there was enough there to get me. I'll never watch it again, but I enjoyed it while I was watching it.
Okay. First off, a little thing about iTunes. They've got a 4K HDR section showing all the stuff that's in 4K. Apparently,
right.
HDR. There's a bunch of it that's not. Actually, well, I don't know. Actually, yeah. All right. There's a bunch of it that isn't actually on physical 4K yet, which I think is really interesting. And I mean, a shitload.
Yeah, there is quite a lot in it.
Sherlock Holmes. Both Sherlock Holmes films are now out on 4K physical yet. Our Brand is Crisis. Me Before You, I believe. Keanu, which is $3.99 at the moment. So $3.99 for a 4K copy of Keanu. Vacation, the Entourage movie, Get Hard, Magic Mike XXL, Annabelle, The Conjuring, Lights Out. I hope this is added to, but this is a really promising start. Just in terms,
it is actually, yeah.
I mean, in terms of stuff that's already out on 4K physically, I mean, Alien Covenant, Logan, Ghost in the Shell, Kong Skull Island, Mad Max.
$3.99.
Fuck, The Man from U.N.C.L.'s in 4K. Shit.
It's $3.99 now. You could buy Kingsman and have it on 4K.
Yeah. The Man from U.N.C.L.'s in 4K. Oh, rad. Oh, fuck. I can't wait for Friday. I'm
Oh,
really pissed off I don't have a Dolby Vision TV.
There's an all 4K section.
Fuck.
There's some. Well, I'm looking at it now going, there's at least 10 titles that I know straight away on mine would go on a 4K.
I'm literally gonna count right now how many of these I already have. I'm gonna do it. 2 ticks. 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I got 12. I got 12 4K films. And I didn't have them last week.
I got 7, so I'm happy with 7.
Yeah.
And, there might be more that comes out by the time it kicks in.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, frankly, as Alien Covenant, I'm probably going to pick up. I mean, it's a tenner, so I'll probably buy that. Logan, I don't have yet. It's a tenner. Ghost in the Shell, I'm buying that on Friday because I've been itching to watch Ghost in the Shell again. Kong Skull Island, I'll buy that at some point. I mean, Batman vs Superman, I've seen it 4 times. I'm obviously going to have to watch it again at some point. So,
in 4K. And you already watched it in 4K?
Yeah, twice. I am the problem.
Yes, you are.
Seriously though, man, $3.99 for Keanu in 4K. I mean, $3.99 for Kingsman in 4K. But
that's pretty fucking.
And it's just the fact that there's there's a lot of stuff here that isn't on physical 4K yet. I'm really, really impressed. I really am. I know I've been in the tank for this since the start, pretty much. But fucking hell, man, it's a good load. They just got to keep on keeping on, though. That's the thing. Anyway,
that's it. They can't let it kind of drop after this.
I don't think they will, though. That's the thing, because
I don't think they will. I think they're gonna. It's what they're gonna use to push their iTunes movies.
Yeah. That's it. I mean, it's a way for them to get some market share back, and they'll do it if they're fucking pricing as aggressively as they are.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've watched a number of things this week actually. How much time do you have?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Right. So I rewatched Kingsman, which I still really like. We're going to review it next week, but just because we're probably not going to actually do the show until midweek next week. Kingsman: The Golden Circle has been getting quite a bit of shit on the internet the last couple of days. I watched it today. I'm pretty sure Noel will probably join us next week, so I know he's up for this. So I'm just going to say now, it's not as good as the first one, but if you like the first one, I genuinely don't know how you won't get a kick out of this one. I genuinely don't know. I know there is a plot point about this which is going to have people banging the drum like they did with the anal sex thing at the end of the first one.
I never quite got that. It was so throwaway.
It was exactly what I was about to say. It is so throwaway, and people saying that it's essentially a rape joke.
No, it's not. She says it.
She offers. I mean, I know it's a very, very random thing to say, and is the joke funny is definitely a question.
Yeah.
But she offers that.
That's it. I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was a little bit unnecessary and quite juvenile, to be honest. But it's not something that should even fucking warrant. It's so throwaway. Throwaway. I couldn't understand why people gave a shit.
Very mild spoiler alert for Kingsman: The Golden Circle. It's really mild.
It's fine. She's
still his girlfriend in this one.
Oh, nice. I quite like that.
So it's, it's like she's actually quite a big part of the new one.
Is she like the Princess of Norway or something like that?
Sweden, yeah.
Sweden, that's it, yeah.
And yeah, there's something that Eggsy has to do in the new one that he actually asks permission of her to do, and I think that the fact that he's still with her and that is going to be overshadowed by the thing that he is doing. I'm going to leave it there. But Kingsman: The Golden Circle, it's a good time. I'm sorry, like for me, I had a blast with it. It's not as good as the first one. It's not as tight. They expand out the world, and I'm there's a bit too much going on. Elton John's fucking amazing in it. I'm going to say that.
Elton John, did you just say?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Nice.
He's like, he properly steals some scenes, like really hardcore steals some scenes. Just being Elton John. He's playing Elton John.
The thing is, I'm actually quite looking forward to seeing this, in the sense that I liked the first one. It's fun. And you know what? If I go into this and it's fun, fine. All I want is... It's 2 hours, 20 minutes. That's worrying.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, the first one was like 2 hours 10.
Yeah, it was actually. All I'm fine about it is if I get 2 hours of just fun. That's all I'm bothered about.
Yeah, the way they bring Colin Firth back is fucking lame. I'll say that, but it's a 4 out of 5 for me. We'll talk about it next week, but the thing is, I'm going to be like probably a solid week removed from it, so I kind of wanted to get my thoughts out there while they're fresh, and then let you and Noel kind of like have the proper chat.
I think Noel's seeing it today, so we'll probably record quite early on in the week. I'll say
all right, fair enough then. Yeah, okay, cool. But yeah, no, it's just like, because this will be out before the weekend. I'm not exactly fuck the haters, because if you didn't get on the wavelength for the first one, you won't get on the wavelength with this one. But if you like the first, and I've seen people like saying they like the first one and they weren't into this one, and I don't fully see how. I'd like someone to actually explain that to me. So, feel free to come at me at Ian Loring on Twitter. Anyway, okay, so I also watched Pawn Sacrifice, which was the Ed Zwick film that basically went on a shelf before it just, like, filmed before the latest Jack Reacher. It's got here 2014 on Letterboxd. Literally came out limited theatrical and Amazon Prime a couple months back.
Yeah, it sat on a shelf for a while, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of not hard to see why. I mean, it's not terrible. But, I mean, so basically it's Bobby Fischer, like a kind of essentially a biopic of Bobby Fischer, focusing on when he was trying to be world champion. And it's Tobey Maguire playing him. Now, the thing with this film is that basically, I don't know really anything about Bobby Fischer apart from the fact that he was a chess champion and he was difficult. So all throughout this film, I am thinking, this guy's a prick. This guy is a fucking prick. And he's getting paranoid about Russians, and he's basically being horrible to everyone. And then literally in the closing titles, it talks about how he was suffering from mental illness. And it was like, I did not get that from this film. I did not get that. I just got that he was paranoid and he was a dickhead.
Which a lot of people have said the same thing.
And yeah, it's like literally the closing titles were telling me I was supposed to be sympathetic towards him. And I wasn't. I wanted the fucking Russian to win. The Ed Schreiber, right? He's really composed. He's calm. He's measured. He doesn't really like the fact that people are listening in on him, but he just accepts that, fuck it, it's Russia. And he does his fucking job. And in the end, when Bobby Fischer performs his great move on him, do you know what he does? He doesn't fucking like chuck the chessboard up and go off in a huff. He stands up, he offers his hand to shake, and he says, "Well done." Be more like Liev Schreiber.
Yep.
Less like Tommy Maguire. That's what this film told me. Be more Russian. Pawn Sacrifice. Good performances. Absolutely failed in what it was trying to say, because it literally told me what it was trying to say in the end titles, and I disagreed with it. So that's Pawn Sacrifice. It's on Amazon Prime. Okay. I rewatched The Expendables 3 for some reason. It was on Netflix, and I just fancied it. That's long.
That is for some reason.
Yeah. That film's like 2.25 hours long. It doesn't need to be 2.25 hours long. I mean, fucking hell. I do enjoy it, though. The cast are all quite fun. I mean, the young ones, it's like, why even fucking bring them in? Let's just have the old guys doing one last mission or something. Come on. So you got like a 20-minute long recruiting scene with it of Stallone and Kelsey Grammer going around. It's like, oh, come on, fucking get rid of this. So, yeah, there you go. Okay, I watched The Jungle Bunch, which, unsurprisingly, I took Lottie to go see. There's a penguin that's raised by a tiger, and so it paints itself as a tiger, who forms a jungle crime fighting squad called the Jungle Bunch. And,
of course.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think it was a French production, and the vocal syncing with the English language track is fucking horrific. They just don't look like they're saying these fucking words at any point at all. It's really, really, like, the translation job they did is really bad. It's fucking really bad. Really bad. It's quite good looking, though. And I laughed a couple of times. Lottie was into it. So, wasn't horrible.
Yeah.
Got her out the house for a couple of hours. It's not the worst thing I've taken. It wasn't the Emoji Movie. So,
There's a poster quote for you. It's not the Emoji Movie.
Wasn't the Emoji Movie. Okay, so a few other things. Got round to L, Paul Verhoeven's L. Which I watched on a Tuesday afternoon, which was a completely inappropriate time to be watching L. Isabelle Huppert gives zero fucks. Her character is very, very damaged, very, very wounded, kind of almost sociopathic, and yet it's quite a long film. It's quite a bit over 2 hours, and so you get to know her character, and by the end of it, you kind of understand, in a way, what she was doing, what some of her motivations were. Not others, I'll say. But then again, if you had as damaged a childhood and relationships with other people as her character did, then maybe you would understand what her character was doing in this film. I will leave it at that. It's a very, very complex piece, and Huppert is very, very fucking good. And she deserves the Oscar nomination she got. I said this to you yesterday. I genuinely believe there is not a or B list American actress out there who would have done this role. But Isabelle Huppert gives zero fucks.
I'll be getting to this very fucking quickly. I don't know. I haven't watched this anywhere yet because I'm a big fan of Isabelle Huppert. I think she's fantastic in pretty much anything she fucking does.
Seriously, man, the tone this film seems to strike between really, really, really uncomfortable shit and pitch black comedy. Hell of a thing. But yeah, we'll talk more once you see it. Okay, I watched The Villainess, which is...
Oh, yes.
So it's on VOD now. limited theatrical this week as well, and it played Fright Fest. Yeah, one of my films of the year. This is fucking amazing.
Oh, nice.
Straight up, full 5-banger. The first act has got 2 of the best action sequences you'll fucking ever see. Straight, like, I mean, I showed you a bit of one of them.
Yeah, it looked fucking great.
Yeah, and there's another involving motorcycles and swords, which is fucking brilliant. And it's all done in this kind of like one take looking stuff, and it's, I don't know, it's like when you watch like action films that were obviously filmed in like Eastern Europe where life is cheap. You know, it's kind of one of those kinds of things. Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, people had been saying that after the first act it kind of slows down, and it does, because the first act is like just this fucking crazy action film, and then it slows down and it's kind of about the characters. But then the places it goes in the end are like really. It becomes a combination of the first and second acts, where there are these really, really great action sequences, but now they're informed with what you know, and it makes them more meaningful and, I mean, just as visceral, but also kind of impactful on a more character level. And by the end of it, the last shot would seem to suggest that there could be a sequel. And I fucking, day one, like, yeah. I would travel to see the sequel to this. I'm a little bit, I want to leave it there because I don't want to be accused of hyperbole, but it actually, looking at Letterboxd, it didn't work for everybody like it did for me, but fuck man, I was all over this. It was fucking fantastic. So I'm just, that's all I'm going to say. I'll let you watch it and then maybe we'll go into it a bit more. But yeah,
cool. I'll try and get to it very soon.
Cool. And last thing for me, I started my LFF watching. So the online screener library thing made available to people with press accreditation went live on Monday. And first thing I checked out on there, a German film called Life Guidance, which also played Venice. So, you know, it's got a little bit of kind of festival play going on out there. So, right, basically, it's set in this kind of slightly in the future from now, but slightly left of centre world, where essentially everything in the world is geared so that you are performing to your optimal standard. You are being the very, very best you that you can be in all aspects of life. So like literally the opening scene is the lead character and his wife watching their kid recite this school song about everything being optimal. It's like everything is awesome, but like really boring. But that's the intent. That's not a criticism of the film.
Yeah.
But the lead character is happy with his lot. He's got a good job. He's got a really fucking nice house. He drives a really nice car, and his wife and his kid love him. But he only makes kind of like throwaway gestures at being better than what he is at the moment. For instance, there's this fucking great weird little scene early on where he's playing football with his kid, and his kid's in goal, and he's like taking the penalty, and he's just fucking rinsing his kid. And it's like this small little way where he's like trying to pretend that he's still trying to be like the best he that he can be by fucking just kicking his kid's ass at taking penalties. So yeah, are you still there? Sorry.
I am. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Sorry, my AirPods were just saying they're low on battery, but yeah. So yeah, just a really fucking weird thing. So it goes on. It goes on from there, and basically it's detected that he is basically being this, that like he's not actually actively trying to be better. And this company that's kind of affiliated with the government called Life Guidance get involved, and they're trying to make him better. And basically, he starts becoming like paranoid about what they're actually doing and what their motives are. And there's talk about if he essentially doesn't pass, he'll be sent to the Fortress of Sleep, which is not a pillow fort, as Noel inquired yesterday in a WhatsApp chat we were having, which I thought was fantastic. It's unfortunately it's a lot more boring than a pillow fort, to be honest. But yeah, and it kind of goes on from there. So it's this world where you're watching this like really like successful guy being hounded for not wanting to have more, but at the same time, like he's never really put in danger. The danger only comes when he kind of pushes things, and this company are obviously shady, and there's some shady stuff going on. But it's also, it doesn't feel like in this world it's that bad. So it kind of just, I don't know. You just watch it and you're thinking, right, when's this actually going to kick off? And it never does. And then it ends.
So it's just a bit of it just kind of just one of those that just fizzles out a little bit, or...
Yeah, it does. I mean, like, the mood of it is great. And the director, Ruth Mader, she fucking knows how to conjure some atmosphere. But it just doesn't really ever come to the boil. And yeah, and by the end, it was just like, right, well, it was only an hour and 40. Like, I'm really, really glad that wasn't 2 hours. His house was really nice, and I liked his car. I liked the shirt he was wearing as well. This is the thing. I was spending my time thinking, like, that's a really nice shirt. And that tie's pretty sweet as well. And I was just kind of thinking, like, do you know what? I wouldn't mind being in this world. That would be, like, if I could have a fucking nice car and a nice house like that, and, like, I just tried to need to want to do more. It's not like the doing more. It's not like stabbing people in the back or anything like that. It's not like American Psycho, where it's, it's like better productivity. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, okay, if you do better with your productivity and stuff, then you get, I don't know, you get nicer things and you take care of your family. And it's like, it doesn't seem that bad. And like, I mean, the Fortress of Sleep, it's got some stuff going on in there, and like slightly the haves and the have-nots, but at the same time, it's also like, well, these are, I suppose these are people who wanted nothing more, and now that they're being sent there, and now they're automatically the have-nots. So maybe there's a comment there, but I don't know, man. Maybe it says something about me, but it was like, fuck, I like that shirt.
Fair enough.
So yeah, Life Guidance. 3 out of 5. I didn't hate it. I like the look of it. I fucking like the guy's shirt and tie. I liked his car. I liked his house. And
I'll keep a lookout for that shirt and tie combo.
Yeah, man. It's like, shit. If I work a bit more efficiently at work and it means I can have that shirt and tie, then sure. What do you want me to do? That's it for this week. Have we got any other Twitter questions?
I don't think we do. I think that was our one Twitter question. I think that. Let me just double check to make sure. Yeah, that was our one. That was our Twitter question for the week.
Okay, very good. So we will be back next week with Kingsman: The Golden Circle. Are you going to check out Borg McEnroe as well?
If I get a chance, I might do. Yeah, I might try and see if I can do that. I'm quite interested by it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I'm up for that. So it will be talked about. So there's that, and I think that will do it. I think that will do it. So thank you very much for listening, everyone.
Thank you very much
for your time. And
Yeah. Anything else, Mark?
No, Dude and Monkey Patreon / Dude and the Monkey, at Dude and the Monkey, at Ian Loring, at dudeforce, dudeandmonkey.com and all that shiznits. But no, it's very much thank you very much for listening. We hope you enjoyed.
Very good. Bye-bye, guys.